Well, sounds like we've got a rave going on right now. Wait for it to kick in, and then we'll hang the washing out. It's coming up. It's coming up. Hi everybody, welcome. I'm just waiting for a few more to jump on. Oh baby, chica, come on baby, it's okay, it's okay. She's having a barking in the morning this morning. I don't know what's wrong with her this morning. What's up with you? Tell us all about it. It's not as if you're not getting enough love. Am I giving you too much love? Are you getting too spoiled? Are you getting a spoiled little princess? Am I spoiling you? Wow, this is slow. The algorithms are really shadow banning me at the moment, guys. 7 people on, it's incredible. It's getting worse. The more I speak truth, the more I speak against the darkness, the more I'm shadow banned. It's incredible how... oh, that's right. I had warning strike. Was that 2 nights ago? Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, we're here. 8 beautiful souls. Welcome. It's a lovely number. Infinity and beyond. So we're going to talk about fame today, while the rave music's going on and people are enjoying themselves. It's a Saturday morning. It's gorgeous actually here. Could I have one more, please? Thanks. Thank you. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. There are natural clouds in the sky. Feeling great. I don't know how you're feeling. You know, I want to talk about fame, but I also, in the back of my mind, there's something that keeps trying to come forward within a conversation, and it's about frequency and energy. For some reason, every time I do a video, frequency and energy keeps coming in. So normally I talk about general things, but frequency and energy is always pushing me to talk about this. I try and explain what energy is and how energy is created. Your life force is one kind of frequency, and that frequency you walk around with all day long. Now, depending on what your thoughts are, depending on what you're looking at, depending on who is around you, depending on anything to do with interruption, interference, force energy, and the frequency of the universe, all has an impact on your life too, your journey as you walk. Imagine everybody around you all vibrate at a certain frequency, okay? There is an understanding of frequency and energy, and that if you think about this, why is it that you only get to meet a certain amount of people and never ever see anybody else, never meet anybody else? There's millions and millions and millions of people all over the world. How come you never vibrate at that frequency of somebody else? Because You vibrate either high or low in frequency. But there is also another belief system that when you vibrate at a low frequency, you enter into a field around you that is equal in frequency. So basically, you can change your frequency to be in a different world, almost a different place with all other frequencies. I have a different take to that. I don't necessarily believe that, because I've seen so many times that beautiful people vibrate at high frequency, and then somebody comes along and tries to distort that as a human being. So there is a truth in frequency that when you vibrate high, when you're happy, you pull in, you kind of draw into your frequency the same kind of frequency. So like attracts like, they say, but that's not always the case, because you know that when you're happy, you can walk into a crowd of people. If somebody's not happy in that crowd, they're going to target you and they're going to pull you down. So it doesn't really sit well as a human being who just sees things in a very simple term of, oh, vibrate high and then all the bad people will disappear. No, it doesn't really kind of work like that, I don't think. But I do believe that there is some truths in that. That's why people say these things. So why is it that every time you work on yourself more and more, then you're not involved in the heavy negative energy? I'll give you a great example. When you work on yourself, okay, it means that you're not focused on anybody else. So when people used to say to me, thank you, Miguel, thank you so much. People used to say to me, why are you always happy? And I used to say, because I'm busy working on myself and working on creating. It's that simple. So I was a healer, so I was busy healing, working on that energy. So I wasn't focused on other people and other energies. Okay, so that's something to bear in mind. So when you are working on yourself, when you're working on your own frequency, you haven't time to look at other people's judgments, opinions, negativity, right? Because you've got to understand this, right? That there is something within the human psyche that we are drawn to drama, fear, grief, sadness. We're not drawn to happiness. It doesn't seem to be something that we are pulled towards. We have to work at going towards happiness. We have to try but darkness, it's easy. We are pulled into darkness very quickly, and that's something nobody talks about. So why is it that we have to work hard for happiness and we don't have to do anything for darkness? Darkness is almost like the base level of normality. Why is that? Why is that? The distortion, the breaking news, the hate, the shock energy. Why is that so easy to slip into? And happiness is hard to work at. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to, just maintain. You ever thought about that? Have you ever asked yourself that? So these things are extremely important to understand. When somebody says, being happy all the time, oh, it's easy. No, it's not. It's one of the hardest things we have to work towards. So when you change your perception and realize that darkness is easy to slip into and happiness you've got to maintain and work towards, then you can see why most of the world sit very comfortably in darkness, because most of the world is lazy. And that's the truth. Most people are predominantly lazy. They're very, very active with their mouth, and they tell you what you want to hear, but just look at their actions. Very few people actually follow through with their mouth. So it's very interesting. So I just want to say that there's been this kind of new understanding of I think it's more to do with quantum physics, to do with reality within reality, and you can vibrate yourself out of this reality into another one. I don't buy into that. But what I do buy into is that if you work towards creating, if you work towards joy and happiness, if you work towards healing the inner child, the past trauma, you will vibrate at a different frequency because you are on a path of healing. And when you vibrate at a different frequency, what you are focusing on at that moment is the very thing that you're vibrating at and thinking about. Therefore, if I said to you, the colour of, have you seen all those yellow cars out there now? Have you seen that? All of a sudden your brain will look for yellow cars. So if I said to you, look at all the happiness out there now, you will look towards the happiness. So it's almost like training your brain through the consciousness, saying, look for all the happiness. And by doing that, everything else, all the other cars will be meaningless because your focus is on the yellow car. So it's something you can think about and try today. Focus on, just go out today and focus on everybody's smile. Look for all of those beautiful smiles, okay? Which means that you're not focusing on the sadness, the anger, the bitterness, the crying, the tears, the shock energy, the drama. I don't just mean a smile, I mean look for the good things. Look for the inspiring things. There's so much to think about. I'd like to move on to another thought about fame. Most of the world now has been brought up to idolize fame. So they bow to fame. Fame can be many things, but predominantly fame is, well, at one time it used to be somebody who worked hard to achieve something and became famous from achievement. But now anybody can be famous. Just switch your phone on and do a stupid TikTok video and you can be instantly famous for nothing. So everybody is craving fame these days. And if they don't have fame, they feel as if they're worthless and nobody. But I want to tell you something about fame through my clients. And I've read for hundreds of, let's say, really famous people. And all I ever saw was a slippery slope of, well, let's think about it. What is fame? When you embrace fame, when you want fame, it's you want people to look at you. You want people to admire you, okay? When all's said and done, that admiration is a lie because you are lying to people because the fame that you crave through other people is a false identity of who you are. So you start to feel bad when you start to get fame and you start to try and keep up this image of who those people believe you are. So then you're now starting to lie to yourself. Not only the people who are watching you, the crowds that admire you, because you're putting your videos out there and your messages out there and your photos of your beautiful food and your cars and your fancy boyfriends and girlfriends and all the other stuff that you're doing on holiday. But deep down, you know that you're just an actor. You're acting now and you're actually lying to everybody. But then it starts eating you even more because you realize that not only you're lying to everybody, which makes you feel bad, you're now lying to yourself because you're keeping up this demonstration of who you are not. So fame starts to become very, very addictive and it starts to become very toxic. And then what happens is when everybody's looking at you and they're waiting for the next thing that you're going to post, it goes even deeper then. It gets even deeper. Your pain inside and your suffering inside is really bad because you're stuck in between worlds. You're frightened of anybody knowing the true you. So you have to now conceal and you have to hide and you have to manipulate just to keep this fame alive. But now, even worse, now that you know all of this, and you're trying to keep this lie alive, you end up with no friends. You end up with nobody in your life. In fact, you don't even want anybody near you because you don't want people to know the truth. Because if one person sits with you who's a stranger, who likes you and finds out who you truly are, then that blows all the bullshit that you're living in, this bubble of bullshit fame. So it becomes even more toxic. So the path of fame is one that brings you down a slippery slope of sadness, lies, bitterness, anger, and ultimately depression, and many times suicide. Don't want fame, don't ask for fame, you don't need fame, you just need to be happy with yourself. Be truthful with who you are. Don't be frightened of thinking I am not better than somebody else because I'm sad today and they're always happy. That's bullshit. I'm not always happy. I'm sad many times, but I work towards pulling myself out of that sadness, and I work hard. Remember, you have to work hard to get happiness inside you. Anybody and everybody can fall into sadness and feeling low. Everybody. Don't believe anything you see on this screen when people are posting pictures of their happiness. It's bullshit. And actually, I feel more sorry for the people who are posting happy photos of fancy cars and fancy holidays, and I feel really sorry for them because they're actually doing that not only for fame, but not only for likes, but sometimes they're trying to, it's a reverse psychology thing, okay? And I think that must really hurt them. It must be really painful to do that because they're not fulfilled. They never will be fulfilled. They'll just walk a path of blindness and sadness. And that, my friends, is the danger of fame. Don't want it. Don't look for it. And if it comes anywhere near you, tell it to piss off, okay? You don't want it because it's also attached to dark entities, because entities and negative energy, oh my God, it loves you to jump into that energy because it's very dark. Why do you back, baby? Why do you back? What is it? What is it, baby? There's nobody even there. There's no doggy there. There's a doggy over there. There's a doggy over there, look. There's a doggy over there, and that doggy's not barking. You are. ¿Qué pasa, chica? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. There's no dog over there. I don't know why you're getting like that for, baby. Lily, 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 Lily Poopy Head. I think somebody needs a massage. She's missing her mum. Mum is very busy this next few weeks, so I'm looking after my little baby. Because mum is busy, eh? Doing busy work. Okay, guys, 53 people on. How are you all doing? Are you all good? Come on, let's dance. No, don't want to dance. Okay, guys. I'm wishing you all a lovely day. I don't know what you're doing. I'm going to go back up. I'm just uploading some Moldavite trios today. A day of Moldavite trios. The last lot I've got until the next batch comes. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, guys, that was my little chat today. Don't know really what else to say other than, yeah, just vibrate at a higher frequency as much as you can, and then the lower frequency disappears. And I probably told you guys a long time ago when my little boy Nico was very, very angry a lot of the times. He used to get really angry quick. And he came over to Spain, and I said to him, you know, if you just lie down, I want to do a little session to clear, make you feel happy. Because he said to me, Dad, I'm always angry and I don't know why. He was only very, very young. And I said, well, maybe I can do some magic and help. And he laid down, and I did a cleansing ritual, which back then I call an entity clearance attachment, basically. And it was years and years ago, one of my first ones actually. And I started talking to somebody called Tom, and I asked Tom to leave my son. I don't know where it came from. When I finished, my son said, he was only young, he said, Dad, it's really strange. When I was a little boy, I used to have an invisible friend. Was it a toy or a visible friend? And I called him Tom. And I thought, wow, there's something in this. There's something in this. And when I finished with him, I noticed his anger was slipping. It didn't instantly slip away, but it got better and better, and he got less and less angry. And now is like no problem at all, none at all. But that was really interesting. And I did some talks on this and videos about, you know, sometimes we can have attachments that we don't even know are attached to us. And I made loads of videos years and years ago and did lots of talks about it. And I think a lot of us don't realize that we have attachments. I actually call the attachments negative energy. So sometimes when you don't feel right good, sometimes when you start having bad thoughts and feelings, that can be attachments that are of or dark energies or heavy energies or dirty energies that may not be you. So sometimes having a clear out like you would do a cupboard, that's called a healing session, sometimes really works well. And I don't dive too deep into it. I don't like to talk about it too much because it brings negativity and fear. But if you say go for a healing session with a good healer, you'll be surprised how your thoughts and your connection to your consciousness becomes more pure, open and clear, free from thinking negative thoughts. So you're like, oh, I feel great. I feel like at peace. Right, because we've cleared stuff from within. We've tidied them drawers, and when you open them drawers and you look in them drawers, you think, wow, that's so clean. You don't need to even think about anything and worry about anything because everything's in its place. It's kind of similar. So go for a healing session today, guys. Find a good energy healer and just have a nice healing session. You'll be surprised. And yeah, only wish we could teach that at school. I remember when my daughter came home once from San Sebastian school and she said, Dad, you're not going to believe this. I'm saying, what? We have a new teacher. And I said, oh, really? Yeah. And she's taught us how to meditate. And today we put our hand, we had to stand up next to somebody sat down in class and put our hands on top of them and give them healing. I was nearly crying. I'm like, how did it feel? Yeah, it felt really good. And no fighting, no arguing, no bullying, all stopped. But they don't want that, guys. That teacher, she got kicked out. They don't want love. They don't want healing. They don't want it because we are controlled by darkness and parasites, controlling everything. And no matter how hard somebody tries to infiltrate that, they will shut you down. So the only way we can do it is on a personal level, as a family, and work on each other and become the strength, become the light. Have a lovely day, guys. Take care. And I might do a live later on, actually, at the academy later on, maybe in a few hours. I'm not so sure what about, but if you've got any suggestions of a nice live to do something, maybe I'll do a singing bowl, some music, a live music, healing sound therapy. What do you think? Yes or no, or something else? I'll leave that with you. What about some sound therapy and me sending some healing and asking all the healers to come on and send healing to those that need it? I think we haven't done that for a while, and I think it might be a good idea. What do you think? Yes, no, or something else? Okay, I'll dust my singing bowl off. Actually, dust it off because it's been it's been in the teas last night. It had the teas in it because I'm just finishing off. I don't know how many boxes we've got left of the teas, but these are the last teas. I won't be buying any more. So I worked on the cleansing teas last night. I did the intensive cleanse the other night. Just finishing the boxes that we have. I have to empty them and then work on them and then put them in bags and then put the singing bowl therapy into them. So I have to dust the mugwort and out today, Sage. But I'll get that out and also get a few more bits and pieces out. Some bells and things like that. Okay, then we'll do it later on, maybe in a few hours. All right, guys, take care. Love you all. Bye.